This is John Kolb with Suffering Outdoors. I am located in north central Pennsylvania. I'm diving into both apps to see which one is better. So Spartan Forge started out as an AI tool for predicting deer movement using GPS collars on deer. So I really like the fact that it's actually tracking real life deer movement with GPS collars and then correlating that to weather or certain changes to weather or certain periods of time during the year to show you or predict what the deer are going to do. There's a couple different categories they're looking at, so that part of it's pretty neat. They also have more statistics around hunting for scouting. They have some information on food and types of food that or types of browse that are in an area or state to help you with scouting. So Spartan Forge started as deer prediction and grew into a GPS app and mapping software. So you do have more features with predicting deer movement. So the first category I'm going to look at is imagery. Imagery is very important when you're e-scouting or using one of these apps. And I want to look at the image, how clear is the image, how up to date is the image. Ideally, if you have leaf off, that is like the hunter's dream, to be able to see your area with leaf off imagery. Unfortunately, in my area, Onx's imagery is terrible, and it has been for many years. I've been using the app for over 5 years. The imagery has not been updated. It's just kind of like a green baby puke blob. Spartan Forge isn't much better in my area. In some ways, it might even be slightly worse. But there are areas within the state of Pennsylvania and other states that the imagery is really nice. They have a UAV option, and the quality is crystal clear. You can zoom in really close. In a lot of the areas, it's leaf off. So when I was hunting public ground in Ohio this past season, Spartan Forge was really helpful for finding different areas and seeing the terrain and kind of the makeup of the forest and the ground with that leaf off UAV imagery, to where Onx was not up to par with the imagery. But both apps in my area lack on the imagery side, and I'm using them more as a navigational tool in the woods. For the ease of use, Onx seems to be more intuitive for myself, and I'm not sure if that's because I've used it longer and I'm more comfortable with it. But I've been using Spartan Forge for about 6 months now, and it still feels just a little clunky and not as intuitive when I'm navigating the app. And you almost have to memorize how to get to certain areas. And sometimes when you change the app, one of the settings for the map will go away, and you have to like change back and scroll through the different map settings until it pops up again, which can be frustrating when you're trying to learn the app and use it. So Onx takes the win on the ease of use. For property lines, both apps have private property, public ground, and the public ground shaded. When you zoom out, you can see the big areas of what's public and what's private. What I like about Spartan Forge is when you zoom into a certain point, the shaded public ground will disappear, so you're just seeing the satellite imagery view. So I really like that feature of how it's not in your way when you're looking, compared to Onx, where you actually have to disable the layer once you zoom in close to be able to see more details of the ground. What I have noticed with Spartan Forge is their database seems to be out of date. They actually have a feature to where you can mark the property borders if you have permission, and then if the ownership changes, it will turn orange or red from green. I have a property that's close to my house that the owners moved away a year and a half ago, and it's still showing the old owner on Spartan Forge, and the new owner has been updated on the Onx app. So be careful with the property data, and it might not always be up to date or accurate. So both apps have offline maps to where you can download the imagery, and then in areas you don't have cell phone service, you can access those maps. Onx is a lot easier to download those maps and see where you're at. Spartan Forge, you can't see waypoints when you go to download the app or the maps, and then you also cannot see what other maps you have downloaded in that area. So you're kind of blind. And when I was hunting in Ohio, I had a difficult time, not being familiar with the area, telling where I downloaded or where I even wanted to download a map, because I couldn't see my waypoints, as well as what other maps I've downloaded to kind of match and piece together a bigger high resolution area. So layers are also a very important feature within these apps. Right now, Onx has more layers and better layers than Spartan Forge, and there's a few that I use pretty regularly that are not available on Spartan Forge, like timber cuts, different types of forests like oaks, acorn-producing oaks. The crop layer is a little bit more user-friendly on Onx. It kind of just shows you the words of the crop that was planted in that field on the property the previous year, where Onx will actually add the layer, a colored layer, to show you the different types of crops that you can click on and see more details on it. But not having the timber cut or the timber harvested areas is a big negative right now on Spartan Forge. I haven't spent a lot of time on the Spartan Forge's desktop app, but you can export your waypoints from Onx or other GPS software and import them into Spartan Forge, which is pretty neat. When I was hunting in Ohio, I did benefit greatly from Spartan Forge with that UAV imagery and the leaf-off imagery in areas that I was able to get onto deer where the Onx imagery just wasn't up to par and was not very useful or helpful in that time period. So when I'm in the woods the past 6 months, I've found that I'm still using Onx over Spartan Forge and prefer the ease of use and the navigation of that app. So if you are interested, I think it's definitely worth a look and a free trial to check it out. And then let me know what your thoughts are in the comments as far as which you prefer if you've tried both. Thanks everybody for watching and have a great day.